welcome back to the channel. My name is Mika and this is Red Pill Africa. Ladies, gentlemen, this is the second part of my video, Kenyan girls in the Middle East. And for you to fully understand what I'm going to talk about here today, you need to watch the previous part of the video. I will put a link of that video somewhere here or here. Go check it out and see. And like I said in the previous part of the video, if you are the kind of person that gets easily angered, easily triggered, whenever somebody says something unflattering about a woman, please do us all a favor. Do not watch this video. And for those who watched the previous part of the video and are still here, thank you. Thank you so much. I can never thank you enough for your time and for your support. Please, let us continue. After meeting my Kenyan sister who was dating my friend, obviously I didn't think she stood a chance with the guy. In my opinion, the guy was just too high value for her. You might say, if he is that high value and he knows it, why was he dating her? Here is the reason why sometimes high value men like my friend, date low value women, sleep with low value women. And I want you to listen carefully, ladies, because this is where you have it all confused. Women sleep with men from her level going up. It is not the same thing for us men. For a woman, the higher the perceived value of the man, the higher her interest in him. Meaning, the richer the guy is, the more successful the guy is, the more educated the guy is, the higher the social status of the man, the more handsome the guy is, the more popular the guy is, the higher her interest in the guy. It is not the same thing for us men. Women rarely sleep with men below her perceived value. That is why it is very rare to hear of a female CEO or a female general manager. She slept with a T-boy or an office messenger or just a male clerk in her company. How many times have you heard of distinguished male CEOs and general managers sleeping with the secretaries, receptionists, office messengers, office cleaners, and even house helps at home? How many times have you heard of that? As men, we can sleep with a woman up here, we can sleep with a woman down here, right, left, center. We smash them all. So long as I feel like having some, I find her physically attractive enough, and the opportunity allows it. Most men will go for it, especially if it's a man who is not in a committed relationship. Like my friend here, he will go for it just to have that itch scratched. What we are very, very selective about is the kind of woman we keep in our lives, the kind of woman we love, the kind of woman we trust, the kind of woman we marry and have kids with. That we are very, very keen on that. We don't do that with just any woman we are sleeping with, no. So, a man sleeping with you, it could mean a lot to him, or it could mean nothing. One more thing, and I know this is going to sound sexist to some people, or whatever you feel to call it. Go ahead. But the truth is, sometimes we allow some women in our lives purely for sexual pleasure and nothing else. You know, someone just to take care of our sexual needs, satisfy our sexual curiosity, and that is it. Once we are done, we move on, and we don't expect any dramas or hard feelings. It was just sex. Ladies, one more thing to remember. Remember, we are in the Middle East. In the Middle East, there is a scarcity of women. Because of this scarcity, sometimes men are forced to eat what they wouldn't normally eat under normal circumstances. Sorry to tell you this, ladies, but most of you girls, you are just the grass that the lion is eating because he couldn't get the meat. Men do not have a lot of choices here. Not the kind of choices we have back home. No, we don't. We are like on the island, right? And you ladies are like the few bananas on the island full of hungry monkeys. All monkeys, big or small, are gonna come for you. Don't get carried away. We are just a hungry lot. Ladies, I don't know if you know this, but there is a huge imbalance in the ratio of men to women in the Middle East. For example, Qatar. Qatar has the highest in the world male to female ratio. According to 2018 statistics, for every one expatriate woman, there was 3.6 expatriate men without the nationals in the mix. That was in 2018. And now, with all these construction works, all these engineering works going on because of the World Cup preparations, a lot of men have been brought in. I can just imagine how hugely insane that ratio is at this point. Put the nationals into the mix. That number shoots to over 5 men for every expatriate woman. Do not let this sexual attention fool you into believing you are something that you are not. There is too much testosterone floating around here, and you, being a female, it will automatically be directed at you. Look at the type of men that used to come after you back home. Compare that to the caliber of men that are coming after you now. There is a big difference. And it has very, very little to do with you. You did not suddenly become this hot stuff that you want to believe you are. It is mostly because of this huge imbalance in the ratio of women to men. Girls, be selective. Be wise in your dating choices. Be with a man who is going to love you and appreciate you for the beautiful black woman that you are. A man who's going to value and appreciate the little that you bring to the table. Stop chasing rainbows that you'll never catch. Stop it. Stop wasting yourself running after men that you're not qualified for because you do not have what they want and desire in a woman. You don't. Be realistic about your dating choices. This does not make you less of a woman. No, it doesn't. It makes you a wise and a realistic person. That's what it does. It doesn't make you less of a human being just because you're being realistic in your dating choices. No, it doesn't. You can't go around dishing it out to every Tom, Dick, and Harry who drives a car and calls you hot stuff from Africa. No, you can't. You need to stop that. And I understand. Most of you girls come from families back home that have never owned a car. So somebody carrying you in the front seat of a nice car has you all excited and screwed up in the head already. Sweetie, you are not in Kenya. You are in a country with the highest gross national income per capita in the world. Somebody owning a car in this part of the world is not a big deal. Wake the hell up. Point number 2 on how you girls mess up these relationships is the way you present yourself. You present yourself like a woman who does not need to be dated. Whenever you meet these guys from the West or from Europe who expresses a little interest in you, even before finishing what he needs to say to you as a man, I mean, the usual stuff that a man needs to say and do with a woman before it gets there, you are ready and willing to do anything. You are ready to drop your panties and wow him with your bedroom skills. Right from day one, you are ready and too willing to do anything to please him. You act like this is your only opportunity in life to strike gold and you are not taking any chances. I've seen this, not just with this Kenyan girl that I'm talking about here. I've seen it with several other Kenyan women as well. Get to know a little bit about the guy before you start giving him that great sex that you're so eager to give. Don't be so quick. And do you know why you're so quick to drop your panties for these guys? I will tell you why. It is because you know you have nothing else to offer except sex. You see the guys up here, and you see yourself as down here. So the only thing you can give is sex. And because sex is the only thing that you can give, you are so desperate to prove to him that you are the best he can have in bed. And you are in a hurry to do it as quickly as possible before another girl comes over and overtakes you. Do you get the picture? Listen, girls, offering only great sex to a man is not a qualification for anything serious. Good sex, great sex, is the necessary icing on the cake that every relationship must have. But what a majority of you girls are doing here in the Middle East is giving great sex where there is no relationship. You are hoping that a meaningful relationship will develop from the great sex that you are dishing out. Sweetie, great sex on its own rarely does the trick. Otherwise, all commercial sex workers of this world will be happily married. Ladies, learn to present yourself with respect. Carry yourself with the dignity of a true African woman. Next time, before you go crazy over some dude you just met, try and hold yourself back. Take your time and establish some sort of a respectful relationship before you start giving sex. That is, if you are looking for a serious relationship. If you're not looking for a serious relationship, you can throw yourself at anyone you want. And they are going to eat you as many times as you allow it. And then move on to the next girl, leaving you behind crying. Men don't care. Ladies, after presenting yourself like a woman who is in a hurry to sleep with him and hook him up with your sexual prowess, do you ever wonder what he sees when he looks at you? I will tell you. When he looks at you, what he sees is a cheap, desperate HOE from a third world country, too eager to do anything to be with him. Chances of him seeing you differently are this slim, especially if he met you online, somewhere on Tinder, or he found you hovering in the mall pretending to be doing window shopping, or he met you in the park wearing your best yoga pants, your ass popping out, pretending to be jogging, while we all know why you were in the park. Ladies, most men are not as foolish as we act when we first meet you. We can tell the difference between a girl who is in the park busy doing her thing and a woman who is there hunting for men. Even in the nightclub, we can easily tell the difference between a girl who is just in the nightclub having her fun and one who is there looking for hookups. How do you think pickup artists pick up women all the time whenever they go out? The girl will be giving off all these take me somewhere and squeeze me up vibes that we pick on so easily. Like this girl that I'm talking about here, they met outside the mall. He offered her a ride. She looked at him, looked at the car. 3 seconds later, she was sitting beside him in the car. He just drove around, talking to her. While driving around, he invited her to his house for a quick evening drink. Predictably, she accepted. 2 glasses of wine later, she was on her knees doing her thing on him. Do you see what I'm trying to say here? How you girls present yourselves. While there is nothing wrong with sleeping with a man on the first day, if you are looking for a serious relationship, that might lead to marriage, that is not the proper way to go about it. Because chances of you being taken for a cheap HOE from a third world country are like this high. Guys, please do not judge her for this. And I will tell you why. You see, to her, this guy was like a big superstar sent by God himself. You know, the kind of people that you only meet once in a lifetime and they can change your life forever. That's what she saw in him. But to him, what did he see? He saw an easy, cheap by the roadside pickup. You see, the big difference in the way they perceived each other. But this girl, in her head, she was too busy imagining too many things to see that. I'm sure by the time she got down on her knees, in her head, she was already seeing herself being married to him and having biracial kids. Point number 3. Most of you girls have a very, very poor sense of judgment. Or simply, your instincts are dead. Or like I said in the previous part of the video, it is simply foolishness on your part. But the poor sense of judgment exhibited by the Kenyan girls here in the Middle East is simply admirable. Most of you girls are in situations where you can clearly see that whatever you have going on with this guy will never go anywhere. You know you're just being used. But there is this 1% glimmer of hope in you that keeps you hanging on in there for several months, some even for years, before being discarded like a rotten fish. It breaks my heart every time I see that. Ladies, most of you girls, these men are just entertaining your presence purely for biological reasons. A man has to offload his swimmer somewhere. Yeah, it is what it is. Even me, I have been guilty of that too in my past on several occasions. I'm not going to stand here and claim that I'm the good one, no. Ladies, most of you girls, if it was not for biology, I don't know, men would rather, you know, a situation where you don't really like her, she's not what you'd go for. But like I said earlier, choices are limited for us men here in the Middle East. And the guy does not want to spend every Friday and Saturday alone in bed when he can easily have you. Why should he? The lion is not going to let himself starve to death when he can eat grass. And you are readily available and willing to do anything to be with him. What has he got to lose? Nothing. Ladies, most of these men are just entertaining your presence because they do not want to be alone. You are simply his Middle East bedroom thing. You feel a certain empty void in his life here in the Middle East. And if you think what I'm saying is crap, next time, try suggesting joining him on his vacation and see what happens. There are some people who will come here and say that it's so wrong, it is not proper, you should not be using a woman, you should be a gentleman and be honest with a woman. But whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? Nobody is putting a gun to these girls' heads. And if you ask me, from what I have seen, from what I have witnessed over the years, it is these girls who are doing so much, trying so hard, bending backwards to be in these relationships. The fact that she is dating someone from America, someone from Germany or Holland, is good enough for her so that she can be bragging to her friends and some family members that she's got a boyfriend from England, Australia, I don't know where. This makes her feel like she has made a big step in life, even though her living situation is still the same. She still lives in the company accommodation, sharing a small room with 5 other girls. She still goes to work 6 days a week, working 12 hours a day, earning the same salary, doing a job she is not proud of. But the fact that she is sleeping with a man from one of these countries, makes her feel like she's doing great in life. And because they are so desperate to be in these relationships, some of these girls are forced to do weird things, dirty, freaky stuff, in order to stay in these relationships. Things that a decent person wouldn't ask of another human being. And then at the end of the day, she still gets dumped, leaving her so frustrated and bitter with life. Oh, he left me for a girl from his country. He left me for a girl from Ukraine. I loved him so much, but he left me for a Filipina. Sweetie, why you got dumped has nothing to do with the other girl's nationality, but everything to do with you as an individual. You never stood a chance in the first place. If only you had the sense to see that right from the beginning. If only these girls could direct their time and energy in a different direction, there would be less frustrations and bitterness among our Kenyan sisters. Ladies, I have a very, very personal question for you, but I'm not interested in your answer. Keep it for yourself. Since your arrival here in the Middle East, how many foreign men have run through you? 10, 20, 30, or 40? How many? Since your arrival here in the Middle East about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, how many of these men have had sex with you, then dumped you, tossed you to the side like you didn't matter anymore? How many? About 30, 40, or 50 men, one after the other, have dumped you after having their fun with you. Don't you ever get tired of all that? Don't you ever learn from your mistakes? What will it take for you to get the picture? Oh, I know. You always assume the next one will be different because men are not the same. Yeah, it's true. We are not the same. But you are the same girl the last 20 men have dumped after having their fun with you. You haven't changed anything about yourself. You never sit down and look at the role you play in getting yourself dumped. Every time you get dumped, it is because it is always a man's fault that the relationship came to an end. It is never your fault. These men who tell you, let us just be friends, while they are enjoying from you all the full benefits of being a husband. You are giving love, affection, commitment, and support. Full support. You cook, you make hot meals for him. You wash his clothes, you iron, you keep his house clean, you give raw sex. And you are always available for him, always there for him. Whenever he calls, you are always ready to jump into a taxi to run over there and sort him out. You are giving everything. You are doing everything for a man who sees you just as a friend from Africa. When are you going to wise up? You are giving everything and getting nothing, apart from the bragging rights that you are dating a foreigner. And I get it. In your mind, you think by doing all these things, he is going to fall head over heels in love with you and probably marry you. Sweetie, I totally do understand. You are doing all the right things that a woman in love should do for her man, but you are doing it all for the wrong person. Wise up. Once you are done with, once all these men from other races and other countries are done with you, they have run through you and they are tired of you. You are in your late 30s, you are in your 40s. You expect a Kenyan man to welcome you in his life and turn you into a good wife with your old, tired, overused body? You spent the last 10, 15 years of your life entertaining all these men from other races and other countries. Now you are tired, you are old, you are used up. You want to come back to a Kenyan man to marry you up. That's not happening, sweetie. At least I don't expect any self-respecting Kenyan man, a man who has his life together, a man who has good standards in the type of women he brings in his life, to marry you. I don't expect that kind of guy to marry you. No, I don't. You wasted your youth, your beauty, your body, your fertility, chasing rainbows from the West, chasing rainbows from Europe. And then you will start walking around saying there are no good, eligible Kenyan men to marry you. No, sweetie, they are there, plenty of them. But a majority of these men were taken by the good girls while you are busy booking taxis day and night to go entertain other nationalities. And the few that are still available do not want you because you are old, you are tired, you are used up. Even if a man was interested in you because you still look good despite your age, you are too old to be a side chick. An African man's side chick is always younger and more beautiful. Not someone tired and older than his own wife. No. Ladies, it is not too late to reevaluate your dating strategy. Well, guys, I will end it here. Thank you all. Thank you so much for your time.